Good afternoon from the GoLocal Live Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center here in a nice, sunny Providence. After having 2 weeks off, I'm very happy to be able to come in here and say that the sun is out. Thanks, Mal. Missed you guys. So I'm happy to be back. I'm Rick Simone, host of The Taste. I had 1 week off on purpose, 1 week off because of a massive, ridiculous snowstorm that never came. So I'm happy to be back, and we've got a lot of great things to do for the next few weeks and people to talk to. Today is a segment that was a lot of people requested, including the mayor of Warwick, Mayor Evadijian, that asked me to make sure that I covered the great city of Warwick. So today we're going to highlight Rhode Island's second largest city and talk to 3 great establishments that have had reputations from 4 years to 21 years in Warwick. The guest that I have joining me today is I have 1149 Restaurant. I've got Brooke Dawson coming in from there. Great restaurant. I've been there a lot of times. I'll give a shout out to my friend Rand Robinson, who's the general manager and a good friend. I also have Craig Cullen, who is the owner of the Governor Francis Inn. Very excited to talk to him. A lot of history there and a restaurant that's been around for over 20 years. And then I have Chef Sean coming in from the Shanty, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback on the Shanty restaurant that's still, kind of young. I think it's about 4 years, and we'll talk to him about that, but in a great location on the East Greenwich Warwick line. So 3 great guests, 3 great restaurants to talk about, all places you're going to want to go eat, I'm sure. So I'm happy to highlight them. Also, just want to throw out that there's a ton of events, and I've been getting a lot of Facebook messages about all these events coming up for the month of April. I know Eat, Drink, or Eye is coming up, and there's several others, but I will pay attention to your instant messages as coming over, and we'll try to highlight them and bring in some of those guests as we move through the month of April and into the summer months. So thank you for your instant messages. I got 2 more today to make sure everybody knows I'm definitely not ignoring you. To move along and to get started, because I've got some great food we're about to see here, is I'd like to welcome in Brooke from the 1149. Hey,
hi, how are you?
Thanks for making it in.
Of course,
Appreciate
nice
it.
to be here.
So now, come on, slide right over here. So now we've got amazing food that's already driving me crazy, and everybody knows that I love this style stuff. Anything with bacon, you can't go wrong. But before we get to the food, we got to talk a little bit about 1149 and kind of paint a visual for everyone. You've got 2 locations. I know we're highlighting Warwick,
Yes.
but you've got 2, right?
We do.
All right, so tell us about the 2 spots, because let's start with Warwick, and then we'll mention the other one.
Sure. So our Warwick location was open 11 years ago in July. So we are, plugging along and really, excited about all of our guests and what we have to offer. And then our Seekonk location is a private events facility only.
Right.
So.
So in the 11 years, and somebody asked me a question about the 1149 earlier. That's the address, right?
Yes.
Okay,
It
so
is
I
the
was
address,
like, I thought I knew that, but I better ask.
So that is where the name came from, nice and simple, and it has a nice ring to it, so we went with it.
So the restaurant is massive. You're a big space.
Yes, we are.
So kind of give us, if you can paint a verbal visual of the setup, because some of the questions I had too is that people that even dine there still sometimes I don't think have realized that you've got this great event space, which I've been to a lot. So if you can give us a verbal visual of the restaurant, that'd be fantastic.
Of course. So we have a large bar as you enter into the restaurant. It's, a full, long rectangle, plenty of seats with high top tables around it. Behind the bar, we do have a full main dining room. And then as far as event spaces go, we do have 3 event spaces that are available to you. We have a smaller room in the front of the restaurant. And then as you go towards the back, we have sort of a medium-sized space, which we do use for dining as well as private events. And then we have our large terrace room in the back, which is sort of our prized possession. Everybody loves that space. It's a really nice room with a patio out there as well.
And it's enclosed, so
yes,
you can enclose it, but it
enclosed.
also gives you that feel of being outside.
Yes, I mean, it has French doors, and then it has the patio with the fireplace out there. You have your own private bar, so it's a really great spot. That
it's I gotta be honest, it's one of my favorite spots, especially when you go outside of Providence. It gets a little more challenging to find event space that's not hotels and that kind of thing. And you guys can handle multiple events at a time.
We can, yes.
So your menu is pretty diverse. You've got lunch.
Yes.
You've got dinner. Are they both 7 days a week?
6 days a week.
Okay, 6 days a week. And then you have this amazing brunch, which I've also been out there too, and we got a ton of feedback on brunch. So I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about the brunch because you've been doing it for a long time. And from what I saw, there's like the last 6 years alone, you got accolades all over the place.
Yes.
For this brunch. So I'm gonna let you talk about brunch before we get to the food that's here because the brunch is pretty cool.
Sounds good. So every Sunday we do offer our brunch buffet. It's from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And as far as variety goes, we have won awards for being the best brunch, and we've really tried to kick it up a notch over the past year by doing weekly specials. So while we do have, your staples every week, your French toast, bacon, sausage, and so forth, We have a variety of stations where the entrees are changing. There's made-to-order pasta and omelets, as well as eggs Benedict. And then we have like a build-your-own station, which is fun. So sometimes it's build-your-own tacos or sliders.
Really?
Yeah,
I missed that part.
Which is nice. We have a donut bar, which we just released. So
I
we
missed
have
that too.
Donuts.
So that's new.
Yes,
Okay, all right. So that one I can get excused on that one. Okay. So you have a donut bar?
Yes, that is brand new as of last week.
That's awesome. Where do the donuts come from? You doing them in-house?
Yes, yep, we're making them in-house. So.
That's so cool. We got to make sure we have like that. I love that. So your buffet is not only different because of the fact that you're doing it every Sunday, but it's also the style. So you just mentioned there's stations, so action stations where people are able to come up. That's not normal. That's something you only see on special occasions, really.
Right, yeah. So we try to keep it, diverse and, something for everybody, which is nice. And we have bottomless mimosas for $10, and then the Bloody Mary, sangria, and mimosas are all $5, which is an added value.
It's a steal. That's an absolute steal. So the diversity of that, especially the stations, is an absolutely amazing thing. And I know people were asking me about how big and how much. What's the timing on brunch? I don't know.
So it's 10 a.m. until 2 p.m.
Okay.
and the cost is $31.95 per person. If you're part of our VIP program, you get $5 off. And children are $10 unless they're 5 and under, then they're complimentary.
That's
so
awesome.
Which is a nice perk as well.
That's perfect. So we're going to come back to, she just mentioned the VIP program, but we're going to definitely come back to that because it ties into a few other things as well.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that. But now, because of my salivating over here, because of course I didn't have lunch before I came in, let's talk about some of the things that you brought here today and the style of the menu, because you've got a great lunch and dinner menu. But let's start with this awesome board right here, because this looks unbelievable. So let's start with this. This looks, Joe, you got to look at this thing. Unbelievable. All right, so tell us what we got here.
So this is our burger board. We have had a burger on our menu in the past. We did take it away for a while. However, our guests were not thrilled and asking for it, so we brought it back, but we kind of reinvented it. So it is a sirloin and brisket burger patty, topped with your choice of cheese. You get our hand-cut French fries, which are cut every day, nice and fresh. And then you have all of these toppings that are included with the board. So of course, if there's something that you don't want, you can exclude it, but you get everything for one price. Your condiments, bacon, red peppers, jalapenos, sauteed mushrooms, caramelized onions, avocado, and then your
This is how it comes?
lettuce,
This is the
tomato, onion.
presentation
Yeah,
board?
this is the presentation. That
Oh
board
my
goes
God,
right
this
on
is
your table.
amazing. I got to make sure that we're getting a lot of great pictures of this thing later on, because this is unbelievable. So you got to, oh my God, it looks like it's massive, but you can put all these things right under the burger.
Yeah, so you can build it as high as you like and customize it just how you want it.
That's wild. I love the presentation. Very cool. And this red wine sprout, which we're going to get to, will go perfectly with the burger. All right, so what we got here, because this is another, the shrimp is driving me crazy.
I know. So this is our jewel salad, one of our more health-conscious items that we have on our menu. Has a mango poppy seed vinaigrette. You do have, an antioxidant punch. You have your baby kale, your red and golden beets, your radishes on there, pomegranate seeds, blue moody, gorgonzola, which is a nice smoked cheese, kind of balance
Awesome.
out the sweetness, and then the candied pecans on there as well.
This makes me feel healthy just looking at it. And the shrimp, look at the size of the shrimp.
Yeah, so we, get our seafood in fresh daily, and, grilled shrimp cocktail or something that can be added, along with, other proteins.
So burger-wise, how many different burgers are there? Is it just this one?
So this is just the one burger that we have, and then we have a few other sandwiches as well.
Okay, awesome. And then salad-wise, I know you have other salads too, because
Yes,
I've
we
seen
do.
it. I try to be healthy in the summer as we lean towards it. And then this is the part that messes me up when you try to not be healthy.
I know, when you have the desserts rolled in. So baked Alaska, you have your strawberry ice cream and vanilla cake inside. Then it's topped with meringue, which is torched to get that nice,
And I was
brulee
watching
to
her
it.
torch it. She literally torched it while they were here.
And then fresh strawberries, and then this is a honeycomb candy because you can't have enough sweetness, so
Oh,
just
God.
added some more.
See, the strawberries are healthy. You're all set.
Exactly.
So I'm going to do it. This is awesome. I might be eating this afterwards. All right. So menu-wise, you've got a healthy lunch menu, and you've got a very, not healthy, but a big menu. You've got and then also a big dinner menu that's coming in. Most of the times I've been in, except for brunch, is that I'm either meeting people and I'm sitting at the bar because your bar is so big. It's a great people-watching bar to come into.
Yes.
So something like this would be amazing to sit at the bar and people watch it. I bet you're getting people that come over and taking pictures and making comments just on this dish.
Yeah, it definitely kind of sells itself when people say that. When people see this, they're just kind of like, wow.
So let's talk a little bit about, I'm actually going to talk more in a little bit, but let's talk about your beverage program and your wine program, because a lot of the feedback that I've gotten seen out there, you guys, again, just like you're doing your brunch differently, your programs are different of how you're doing it, because you have these wine events that you're doing, you have tastings that you're doing, and you've got, I'm going to let you talk about it, because you also got a VIP thing that you do, right?
We do, yes. So we do
While
have
she's talking, I'm going to sample wine.
So we do have our VIP rewards program, and then one feature of rewards that we have is our wine stamp program. So if you buy a bottle of wine, if you get one of our cards, you get a stamp, and then every 10 bottles that you purchase, you receive a complimentary bottle on your next visit. And we also offer 50% off bottles of wine on Tuesdays all day during lunch and dinner, which is a nice feature.
Yeah.
And then as far as our upcoming wine dinner, we do have one upcoming on Wednesday, June 6th. So that will be a cocktail hour between 6 and 7 where we'll have hors d'oeuvres and wine, and then we'll do a 3-course dinner preceding that, which will be paired with wines as well.
Beautiful. How often do you do the wine dinners?
We try to do them at least twice per year. Sometimes we do them quarterly, depending on what else we have going on at the restaurant.
So the influence from doing this, does it come from setting it up based on the guests came in and the guest feedback about these programs, or was it just a goal of the restaurant with the chefs and everything to make sure you had a great program to offer?
So it was a goal of the restaurant. We had been doing a wine divas in the past, which was strictly for ladies only. So this is actually our first one upcoming, where we are inviting the gentlemen back. So
I'm happy about that. Not gonna complain.
And women.
Cheers to that. Definitely not complain about that. And what did you bring here today? What is this one?
So this is clinker brick. This is from Lodi, California. So the soil there provides the nice heat during the day and the chill during the evening to kind of do these Zinfandels and Cabernets. So this is an old vine Zinfandel here, and the average age of their vines is 86 years.
Wow.
So you do get a really nice glass of wine, and I brought it because it specifically pairs well with your burgers and barbecue and things like that.
This would go easy in a second, but then again, I can think of anything. This is go perfect. So you mentioned that if on the VIP program they get 10 bottles, they get the next one.
Yes.
At no charge. So how do they sign up for this VIP program? Is it something you have to do in the restaurant? Can you do it online? What's the best way to do it?
So it is done in person on our, so you can do it anytime during dining. You can come in and have an appetizer and sign up, or a full dinner. It's really, just up to you.
So it's not a hard thing to do. So
it's not a hard thing to do.
So that was one of the questions. Is it something I got to fill out? What do you got to do? Of course, they want to be able to make sure they can stay in contact with you.
Yes.
But if you can go into the restaurant and do it, you can start taking advantage of it. Now, you mentioned earlier during brunch about the VIP program earlier. So is it the same program that extends for anything you do in the restaurant? So that's how they would get the price discount on the brunch?
Yes. So it's a loyalty card that you would receive with the VIP program. The stamp card is something separate, but they would give that to you with any wine purchase. So it's very easy to join, and we're happy to have guests sign up for it.
And you mentioned at the beginning, and we're definitely focusing on more because it's your full service venue, but you mentioned in the beginning about the event space that you have in the Warwick location, but Seaconk is also purely events.
Yes.
So do they, in order to book an event, is it kind of overflow that they can go to Seaconk, or Seaconk house larger groups, or how's that set up?
So these spaces in Seaconk can both accommodate between 80 and 100 guests, so it does gear a little bit more towards your larger group.
Okay.
And then the Warwick location can handle, the smaller, more intimate dinners, as well as the larger functions.
And then from the event standpoint, can they book evenings, lunchtime?
Yes,
There's no set time that the venue's
no set time. We're happy to have events whenever they'd like to book them.
And I can tell you, I've attended a lot of charity events, a lot of fundraisers, and I've attended a lot of birthday parties and anniversary parties there because your venue's perfect for it. They've got all the parking that's in there. You're right off the exit to get there to do it. Rand's been there a long time.
Yes.
And Rand's a good friend, so I'm going to give him another shout out. But Rand's been there a long time, and hospitality-wise, one of the things that I have to give you guys a compliment as well from my experiences there is that all of these things that you've highlighted today, talking about the VIP program and talking about your menu, your staff's very good at it as well. And I deal a lot with the bar, so I can give the bartenders a big shout out. But you guys are knowledgeable. Everybody can speak to the things that you want to accomplish and do. So if you heard about this VIP program today, still not sure because you weren't paying attention, not that you can't rewind, but you can, we'll talk about that later, is make sure you talk, and those are good people to talk to, whether you talk to the hostess or the bartenders when you're there to get yourself started for it, because it's worth it. I mean, I'm going to make sure, I had one and I lost it, and I'll talk to Rand about that, but I'm going to make sure that I get back on it, because to be able to go in, and if you're out there, you guys are also, I think one of the things you've become well known for is that the fact that you cater to your clientele, your locals in there, but you've also become a tourist draw.
Yes, we have the easy on access with the highways and Route 4. Makes it an easy spot to stop off.
Yeah, I've had people that have told me that in the summer they've stopped there on the way back from the beach because it's kind of like the midway point to going back to where they're going. So it is a great spot. We'll make sure that we highlight the website for you. So I made sure I covered the brunch because I wanted to talk about the brunch for sure. We talked about the special events. We got your menu. Oh, this wine dinner that's coming up. Do you know who the wines are with?
So we are still working on that. We will have our menus finalized within the next couple weeks. We are going to do a Mediterranean theme, so we're working on sourcing those wines right now and then finalizing the food.
When it's done, the best place to look is the website?
Is our website, yes.
Okay. And then is there a cap on the dinners or how many people you see for them?
We are going to do around 60 to 70 guests.
Oh, so it's a good amount.
It is a good amount that we're looking to do.
Awesome. Okay. So you got the wine dinner information. You got the VIP club. We covered all this great stuff. We got the news about the donuts, which is amazing. That's really, really cool. And talked about the action station. So I don't think we missed anything. But thank you. This was really, really awesome. And this presentation is so cool. So I'm going to be eating the pizza and everything on the salad afterwards. But thank you for making
You're
the time
welcome,
to come in.
of
Really
course.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having us.
Taylor's going to help you get this
Sounds
stuff out of here because otherwise I'll be chowing down
Thank
on
you.
it all. There we go. All right. Bring this one up. That and this. Okay. All right. So as we get into the next thing, my next guest I'm going to bring in. By the way, I'm going to highlight this VIP stuff again because I want to make sure that it is well understood because that was the biggest thing I had mentioned is how do you become the VIP? Brooke highlighted it very well, so hopefully you got the information now. It'll be easy for you to do. My next guest I'm going to bring in is Craig, and Craig can join me as he starts to bring things in, but Craig and I were having some great conversations before we started the segment today, and the Governor Francis Inn has some very special connotations to it, and with its name and its location, its history. So we're going to highlight all that as soon as Craig gets in, and then we're going to talk about their amazing food. So we're going to bring that over here. Glass two. Oh my gosh. The shrimp today. I'm going to go nuts on all the shrimp. Whoa. Look at this. All right. We're going to move this up here. You can throw that right there, Chef. Thank you.
Okay,
Oh
thank
my
you.
God, I'm already starting looking at this. Come on in, Craig. My gosh, Taylor's got the wine back there. I know. I saw that.
It's not complete until you have a bottle.
That's the
I've
truth.
got a-
Thank you,
I got a
Taylor.
white wine, I got a Pinot Grigio.
Nice. Craig, thanks for making the time to come in today.
My pleasure.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So we were having a fun conversation before the segment started talking about the history. So before I get to these massive, unbelievable dishes in front of me, gonna make me absolutely starving, is I want to talk a little bit about how you got into this because you were telling me it and I thought it was really cool. So we're at 21 years, right?
Yes, we're at 21 years. I originally opened a restaurant in August of 1997. Prior to that time, I did work at the Greenwood Inn when I was younger, and I got my itch to someday have my own restaurant. But after that, I worked in private industry and I worked for the state. And later in my life, I had a change, so I had an opportunity to get involved with the Governor Francis Inn. I originally had a lease, and then at the time I got involved, it was closed, and we had to go right through the whole restaurant. We cleaned up the dining area, put a new kitchen in there, and I was very fortunate to hire Tommy Ruggieri, who was an excellent chef, and he knew the business. When I got involved, I thought I knew the business, but I found out very shortly I knew very little. But Tommy was a great help. Worked for me for about 12 years. And then after that time, he left the restaurant, and I hired Randy Winowski, who worked for me for a good 12 years. And prior to that time, he had worked at Twin Oaks. Unfortunately, he came down with cancer and he passed away. And my chef now at this particular time is Selvin Garcia, who worked for me for approximately 14 years now, and he has done an excellent job.
So over the 21 years, it sounds like you've had some people that have really invested their lives into this business.
I've been very fortunate over the years to have a great staff. I have great bartenders, waitresses, and I've had a lot of cooks who've been with me. And one of the ideal things of having cooks that are with you a long time, they remember recipes, and that's something it's very hard to come by.
So with this consistency, and that's what I want to highlight, is that the consistency of having people that are there and invested in this time with you, that's got to show. I mean, 21 years is no small accomplishment. I mean, a lot of restaurants can't, I mean, that's beyond a landmark there to do that. So,
Yeah.
and you said the name, so I want to go back to consistency before I actually lose my train of thought, is that 21 years to be able to do that and pull that off, you have to be doing something right. I mean, these people that were investing with you, do you give all the credit to the dishes? Do you give the credit to the location, to the people you serve? What would you, is it a combination?
I give a lot of credit credit to Tommy Ruggieri. He taught me the business. Very difficult to work at times, if anybody knows Tommy. He's been in the industry his whole life, but he knows the restaurant like the back of his hands. He always stressed quality food, good prices, and just put the time and the effort into the restaurant. He also taught me the big thing is volume. You have to have volume to be successful and keep your prices down. Food's got to be fresh at all times.
And you've got a, so let's go to the dishes, because we're going to, and then we'll get back to some more of the history, but let's go to the dishes, because you have a good-sized menu.
Yes,
you have
we
a lot
do.
of selections.
We have lunch specials every day, plus a full menu. Well, one of our most popular dishes, which Tommy developed, was the hot turkey plate. Now, the turkey plate we serve every Sunday.
This thing up, 'cause this is amazing.
It's got turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes. It's got apple butternut squash, which we make ourselves. We buy
Really?
approximately 320 pounds of butternut every week. We peel it, cook it, and process it ourselves. And we do the same thing with the carrot and turnips and peas. This is a very, very popular plate. This sells for $10.99, but we also serve soup or salad with all our meals and also sandwiches.
That's an insane price. That's unbelievable. Okay, I'll be eating this afterwards. Don't worry, I'm going to be
You
getting
can
full
be my
today.
guest, that's why.
I'm a turkey fan. All right, so what are we going to go to next? Because this is like,
Right here we have
let's go there.
the baked scrod risotto. It's over risotto, and then it's got a 6 to 8 ounce piece of cod, which is topped with breadcrumbs. And then it's we have a sautéed greens, which is a combination of spinach and romaine, and it has seasoning in it, and it's topped off with cheese, mushrooms, and tomatoes. It's a very, very popular dish.
So influences on these dishes, and like you said, you've had a lot of people that have been long term. So you got American and Italian influences in the menu.
Yes, we have American, Italian, we have sandwiches, and we have just about anything from a hot dog to a grilled cheese sandwich,
But
big
that's,
stuffed lobster, tenderloin steaks.
well, and again, I got to go back to the success of 21 years, is that you've catered to the clientele and had a
Right.
variety of stuff that's
Right.
there. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, we try to keep our prices very, very reasonable. And the one things we do too very well is a combination plate. Now I brought with me a baked scrod and 3 junior baked stuffed shrimp, which is also served with potato and vegetable. Also keep in mind, we also give you soup or salad. Now we have a selection of soups of 4 every day.
Really? Every day?
Every day. For example, today we've got chicken escargot, white chowder, corn chowder, and pasta and beans. And the person that brings all this to light is the chef, Selvin Garcia, because he just loves doing it.
These shrimp look amazing.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, and because I like Italian influences as well, is that a lot of this comes to me as comfort food. The style of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we also have the Yankee pot roast, the meatloaf, roast pork. It goes on and on. But one of the things that I think we're really known for is the combination. We have lasagna, chicken parm. We have what we call a supreme platter, which is chicken parm, lasagna, and pasta, and served with garlic
Oh,
bread.
I'd be in my glory. Especially, all right, talk about pasta. We got more shrimp
Yeah.
here.
This here is a seafood fiesta. It's got the shrimp, the scallops,
Oh my God,
and it
one of
con
these.
calamari. It's sautéed in a
No, it's good.
like those shrimp.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's served in a spicy marinara sauce and served over pasta.
My God, it's amazing. And it's not too spicy. It's perfect. That's awesome.
Well, I hope you enjoy it.
Oh my
later.
God, I'll be eating everything later. Don't worry about that. All right. So now that I'm tasting the food, I'm gonna open the wine in a second. Let's talk a little bit about the history, because you said when you took it over, it did have the name that was there.
Well, at the time I took it over, it was closed. It was called Patricia, and prior to that, it was a grill. And but prior to that, it was called Governor Francis Restaurant. And then a person named Jim Nunes took it over. He's the one that changed it to the Governor Francis Inn. And then he had owned it at that particular time. And I just happened to run into him one day, and he says, I was always interested in getting a restaurant. So we had a lease with an option to buy. And like I said earlier, I was very fortunate to have Tommy Ruggieri as my chef, and it took off. Even though the first 12 years that I was there, I wasn't allowed in the kitchen. So,
Sometimes that's not a bad thing, though.
no, but he knew the business, and I really owe the gentleman a lot of credit.
So when having that name, the Governor Francis Inn, it was paying homage to a former governor.
Yeah, it was, and it was also paying homage to the area. Right across where the restaurant is, it's called Governor Francis, and it's a very popular area.
So you've kept that consistency, you've kept the name going, and Rhode Islanders love tradition and being able to do those things. Do me a favor and kind of paint a visual, a verbal visual if you could, of the style and the setup of the restaurant, because that was some of the feedback I got is that people have told me, I've driven by there for a number of years, I gotta stop in now, but I wanna kind of let people know, if they haven't been, what it kind of the
Right.
setup is.
When you first walk into the restaurant, we have a full bar. We have 18 seats, and off to the right we have a small dining room which consists of about 12 tables, and on the other side of the restaurant we have another dining room which consists of 16 tables. It's very comfortable. We try to keep, my staff goes out of its way to make everybody comfortable. If we have any issues, we take care of them right then and there.
No, that's for sure, and the reviews out there are making it 21 years, there's no question about that. But the style, I mean, it's not like you're this restaurant that's massive and overwhelming to come in, it's comfort.
It's basically built on comfort food. Again, I don't mean to keep mentioning this, but Tommy's the one who started that with the different comfort foods. As I said earlier, it's the Yankee pot roast, the meatloaf, the turkey dinners, the roast pork, spaghetti and meatballs, and chicken palms and veal palms.
And what are the hours that you guys are open?
We open at 11 o'clock in the morning and 10 at night, Sunday through Thursday. On Friday and Saturday, we stay open until 11.
Okay. Now, one of the other things I got is from the holiday perspective, and you're a very local restaurant with your locations, things. Do you guys do different things for Easter and Mother's Day and that kind of stuff? Or how's that?
Basically, each holiday, which is Easter and Mother's Day, we have an open menu. Now, this particular Sunday, we're going to have ham and also lamb, besides everything else that we offer.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So they can order off the menu, then you've got the special editions.
Correct.
Hour-wise, so you're going to keep the same hours that you have going?
No, during Easter, we're going to open at 12 o'clock. That's our first setting.
Okay.
And we're going to come close at 8. And we'll do the same thing on Mother's Day. But other than that, those are the only 2 days we...
So one of the comments that I got, I think it goes back to the amount of years that you're open, what the feedback I got was special occasions. And it seems like you've become this very big special occasion restaurant for people to celebrate milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, that kind of stuff. You've had to see some pretty special things over 21 years.
Yeah, we've had a lot of families come in, celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. It's a very comfortable place to be, and you can bring your children and your kids in and enjoy yourself.
Well, you've got to be seeing 21 years. You've got to be seeing some generations now too, right?
Yeah.
Different people coming through.
Unfortunately, over the years too, we've lost a lot of customers too. But again, their friends, their cousins, their relatives, they do keep coming.
Yeah. So one of the things that I want to make sure that we highlight about this is about the style of the menu and the largeness. And one of the things we talked about earlier is that it's common now that people are starting to carry things that are more receptive. And you do have some gluten-free items that are available on the menu for people if they on request, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We have a grilled chicken, salmon, scallops, which are complemented with either mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, or French fries. And we always have a lot of steamed vegetables, and those are all gluten-free. Like I said, we also offer salads, and we do have gluten-free dressings available.
So now that you've been able to get back in the kitchen, so to speak, that Tommy would lunch in the kitchen before, now that you've got back to the kitchen, what are some of your favorite dishes that have resonated over the years? Some of the things that you particularly enjoy and recommend that guests don't miss on the menu?
Well, I think one of my best is the lasagna. Selwyn Garcia makes some really good lasagna. He makes we have an apple butternut squash lasagna he made eggplant lasagna, and he does some very, very creative things. And we serve lasagna sometimes with, at the customer's choice, either pasta or a chicken palm or veal palm.
And as I'm opening the wine, we don't want to forget to talk about your wine and beverages. So tell me a little bit about what you guys carry.
All right, we carry a large assortment. You have here a Pinot Grigio by Torsella. We have Robert Madavi. We have Fetz's wine. We have a house wine, which we sell for approximately $5 a glass.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. $5 a glass, and it's Glen Allen, which is a quality wine. Mm-hmm. I'm going to enjoy this.
You absolutely should. That's great. I love Pinot Grigio. We're getting to that season where this Pinot Grigio is going to start flying off the shelves with the weather getting warmer. And then you guys have cocktails, of course, and you've got the different beers.
Yeah, we have a full bar. I have great bartenders who have been with me for a long time. In fact, 2 of my bartenders come from Twin Oaks, and they started with me originally. Frank and Danny. Anyone who's been there knows them. and they're complimented by Debbie and April.
And so, if someone, it's not going there from a special occasion, it's more going and dinner. It's, you don't have an event space with the size of the restaurant. So,
No. It's basically a walk-in restaurant.
right.
And like I said earlier, we do have luncheon specials all the time. They start at $7.99, $8.99, and $9.99. Again, they include a potato, a vegetable, and soup or salad.
All right, so the lasagna is one of your favorite dishes. What is something else on the menu that people shouldn't? Because this is, when you got this big a menu, I'm asking these questions because I love to ask chefs and owners these questions, is that when you've got a menu that this size, you want to make sure that you're not missing the favorites that are out there.
Yeah, well, I think one of the big favorites, Susan, is our fish and chips. We have scallops, fried clams with the bellies. We have clam strips. And if you want a combination of one or the other, we have available. We have baked stuffed shrimp. We have a large baked stuffed shrimp and a junior baked stuffed shrimp. Today with the fish, so those are junior baked stuffed shrimp that we have. And we really try to, we do try to come up with one or two items on a plate. I think people like the different variety.
Oh, no question. Does the chef change? I know you got a lot of consistency and things there, but does the menu change up based on season as well?
No, it changes on a daily basis. A lot of the specials we run daily, but usually every other day we do try to change it up a little bit to give our customers a change.
That's awesome. So coming in, you've got all these great choices, you've got all these great dishes, you've got the wine list. It's in a historic location, a historic area to go out there, paying homage to another governor that was here
Right.
and the that's there. What's something that people should, if they're coming out there into Warwick to see you, where's the closest landmark? Give them a landmark as to where you are.
We're right across from the Governor Francis Plaza. I think a lot of people know where that is. We're right directly across the street at 1251 Warwick Avenue, Warwick, Rhode Island.
Your location, to me, when I think about it, being now that I call myself a Rhode Islander, is that it's more people that have lived here and been out there. Do you still see a lot of tourists that come over in that area?
We do get some from the airport. We're like on the other side of the airport, but we do attract people from the Sheraton, the different hotels. A lot of the managers there do recommend our restaurant to them.
That's awesome. So this is one of the spots that we want to make sure you highlight, and the things that are happening in Warwick are amazing. I have to give a nice shout out to Karen Jetson from the Warwick Tourism Office, the mayor's office out there, Mayor Videsian. And I also got to give one to Martha Sheridan because they make sure that from a local's perspective as well as conventioners coming in, and Martha's at the Providence Warwick CVB, is that they bring attention to you guys. They make sure that they're highlighting everyone and letting you know that you're out there. And Karen and both the mayor gave great compliments to you as well in the history of you being there. So.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, I made sure we covered lunch, dinner. Made sure we covered that. Is there anything I'm missing? Anything you want to make sure that I highlight before I let you go?
No, not right now. I think you did a very good job.
We did good.
I'm sure when I leave here,
You're gonna think of something. You're like, oh, why didn't I think about saying that?
I know.
All right. Well, you got some amazing dishes. I'm gonna enjoy eating some of these afterwards. I'm gonna let Craig come out, and we're gonna reset real quick before I bring in my next guest. So thank you so much for taking the time
Thank
to come.
you very much for
Really
having me.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Let me get Taylor. Taylor, where's outside? Okay. Can you go to the outside? Yes. Outside. All right, so we had to kind of get reset real quick, and I made it real quick for you, but you're going to notice that as I pan over to the table, we're transitioning from wine to beer. So my next guest is a really, really cool place. I've gotten a lot of great compliments on it. I have to say that I found out that the owner is a Johnston Wells alum, so I'm very excited about the success that she's having. I always like to hear about fellow people that went to Johnston Wells with me before or after have great success. But in just a second, we're going to welcome Chef Sean in, who is from the Shanty. And we're going to talk a lot about what their menu's got going on and his style and what he's done and his background. But while I'm waiting for the quick setup to happen, I know that I mentioned at the beginning of the segment about the events that are coming up. And Eat Drink RI with David Adakian is one of the big ones that's coming up for the month of April. So make sure you check out his website for Eat Drink RI. You're going to look at, he's got a sommelier coming up, a dinner with dames coming up. There's a lot of great stuff that happens. And then he's got the main food event that takes place at the Rhode Island Convention Center. So I do want to make sure that I highlight it. And if you are still sending me messages about things coming up, don't worry, I'll do my best to highlight them not only on social media, but also when we talk about here on the show. And I just got a message while we were setting up about, am I still taking suggestions for future segments? Absolutely. If you've got someone that you'd like to see highlighted or a topic that you want to be discussed, please let me know. I did get asked about Mother's Day. We are absolutely going to highlight Mother's Day over the next couple of weeks. We do have a segment that's going to be dedicated to new restaurants that are opening up in the area. Excited to see those. And Sean's coming in with food, so I'm going to stop talking and go to the food because I want to eat.
Right.
Hey, Chef, thank you for making it.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. And you got some-
Yeah, I appreciate you accommodating me.
Of course, and look at this. We're going, like I said, we're going from wine to beer. So I'm going to have you go right up against here. The first thing we got to do is I got to talk about, before we even get to your background, this amazing food, is tell me about the Shanty. So kind of tell me how the name came about, and then I'd really like you to kind of describe the space because it's really cool.
Yeah, the name came about by Kara, the owner. Her favorite book happens to be The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so when she was looking around for restaurants, she ended up finding this little tiny dilapidated building in Warwick. Look, it was totally gutted. There was nothing inside.
You're kidding.
So what ended up happening was the building reminded her of the picture in her head from the shanty towns from the book at the end.
That's awesome.
So the book's about the Great Depression and how everybody was in this, like shanty towns. So
But I love that correlation. That's an awesome
yeah,
way to
that's,
come
that's
about
literally
for
how
it.
she came up with the name. Yeah.
So tell us what the restaurant looks like now, because you are now 4 years old, right?
Yeah, 4 years old. The restaurant has about a 22-seat bar. The bar is the primary attraction. We have a Edison light bulb chandelier. It's all out of repurposed wood. I think it's an old door, actually,
Really?
that the chandelier is built off of. Yeah, so we have a small room in the back. Seats about 20 people. We still have the original wood seats along the windows, and that's about
Was it a restaurant before Kara took it over?
Yeah, it was a restaurant before. It was Words Public House, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, right there on Post Road.
So you guys, it's kind of like the East Greenwich Warwick line. With
Yeah, it's
locations,
East
right?
Greenwich Warwick line. It's more so, it's directly at the end of Cowesa Ave.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're actually getting closer to the water as you get over there where you are.
Yes, actually, yeah. The water, you could probably throw a stone into the water from the parking lot.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So we had talked before when we were prepping up for the interview, the chef and I had gotten to talk about his background. As one of the things that I always find fascinating is where chefs not only get their inspiration for their food, and we're going to get to that, but your background of coming up is that you did this kind of just as you grew into it, right?
Yes, actually, yeah. I grew up cooking with my grandmother, my mother, my father. It was always, family dinner was always a big deal to us. So with that, I went on to technical high school. So I went to regular high school half the day, and I went to a technical class
And that's where you
the
started
other
learning about
half, and that's where I
programs.
started with the programs there. And I kind of just worked my way up from finishing donuts at Dunkin' Donuts to making pizza, and then to
But that's
working
no,
at the shanty.
But that's no small feat, and that's one of the things I always want to make sure I talk about is that to build yourself up the way that you've done, and you've been with her since the start over there, right?
Yes, that's correct. I started as a prep cook, and then I worked my way up to the line,
Yep.
and then to sous chef, and then when the old chef left, I took over his position.
So in 4 years, you've moved up that many steps to take
Yes.
over the restaurant now.
Yep.
So then, as we get into this food, and it's amazing. So as we get into this food, tell me about your influence on the style, where the menus come from.
Well, more so, it's probably more influenced based off of current food trends. I spend a lot of time reading new cookbooks that come out as opposed to the old ones.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time on social media looking at pictures of what other people are doing. I go out to eat, see what everybody's doing, and I kind of just bring a fusion of everything that I've learned together.
So menu-wise, what's the hours that you guys are open now?
We are open for dinner service 4 to 10 Monday through Thursday,
Okay.
4 to 11 on Saturday. We're open for brunch 10 a.m. to about 3:30 in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
And then from 4 o'clock to 11 o'clock, we're open for dinner.
And that was one of the feedback I got to ask of you about brunch. So we'll get to, after we get through these dishes, I'm gonna have the chef tell you what he has for brunch because I know
Yeah.
everybody loves that. So
Yeah.
let's talk about what you brought. What do we got here?
I have a lobster roll, which is always a crowd favorite.
God.
It's
So,
it's lobster meat. Yeah, we make the mayonnaise in-house. It's fresh celery, there's fresh lime zest every single time. It's made to order every time. It's not like some places you get a batch.
right.
They make a whole batch, but like I said, we make the mayonnaise, we zest lemons to order for it.
Now, do you carry this year round?
We carry that. Actually, right now we have been carrying it year round on the brunch menu.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
God, it's making me hungry as well.
Yeah, it's on a butter toasted brioche bun too.
Beautiful. And then what do we got
I
here?
have another crowd favorite, yam fries with a roasted poblano aioli. So we dredge the fries so they don't burn,
Right.
and it goes with that mayo, the aioli that's house made. We roast the poblano peppers, the cilantro, lime juice.
So everything's from scratch
Garlic.
in there.
Yeah, literally as much as we could possibly do from scratch, we do. We don't have the facility to bake bread, things
Right.
like that, but everything else is scratch cooking.
But locally sourcing, I think that's something I read in there too, that you guys do a lot of the locally sourced
Yes,
items,
we
right?
do a lot of locally sourced items. We source as many vegetables as we possibly can local, especially like right now it's a bit of a problem with the winter in
Right.
Rhode Island.
Getting into the seasons.
Once the summer comes out, I go to farmers market on the weekly basis.
Awesome.
We work a lot with Rock's Fresh Foods. They do a great job of sourcing the food for us from local farms.
Right.
So they do a fantastic job at that.
All right. What
Yeah.
do we got here? Because this is,
We have-
again, look at this. The
Yeah,
style,
another-
presentation and style.
Another crowd please is the TV dinner.
The TV deck.
Yeah, so
I
it's
love it.
it's half a Cornish game hen. We brine it, we flour it, we fry it. It goes with smoked cheddar mac and cheese. We have coleslaw. Right now we have cream spinach on the menu, but it will be changing.
I love that though.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it will be changing. It's just kind of like home style, what you would want to get at home. You know what I
And
mean?
you got a little piece of dessert.
Yeah, a little dessert. That's just raspberry crumble bar.
But what was the mac and cheese you said?
A smoked cheddar mac and cheese.
I'm gonna have so much detail.
Yeah,
to
so,
this,
so
not even
it's just
funny.
a little play on.
And this is how it's served. This is the
This is
presentation.
exactly
for it.
how it's served. That's the presentation for it to a T.
Love the style. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you absolutely brought some great dishes for sure.
Yes.
Tell us about some of the other things that are on the menu that you want to highlight.
Right now, I think the crowd favorite is the scallop dish that's on the menu with a wild mushroom risotto
Beautiful.
and balsamic reduction. We will be changing the menu soon, though.
Going into
in-
this
yeah,
spring, summer
in
season
in 4 weeks. So that's why I didn't want to bring any specific menu items
that are going to be gone again.
that are
in a
going to be
little bit.
gone. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Because it seems counterproductive. That way, everybody can see what we have all the time right now,
Right.
and then come in for all the new stuff.
So when that menu changes in, you said 4 weeks or so when it's coming in,
Yes.
again, you're still keeping with the locally sourced item and working with your
Oh,
purveyors and everything out
Yep.
there.
Yep.
So going into that, and I want to make sure I don't skip over it before I get to the beverage stuff, but let's talk about what's on the brunch menu because I got a lot of questions about what you offer for brunch.
Okay. Usually it's basic things. We have the shanty breakfast, which is eggs your style, however you want the eggs. We have choice of bacon or sausage, although it's not noted on the menu.
Yeah.
You can get wheat toast, sourdough toast, home style potatoes. We do a burrito. We do a loaded Bloody Mary too, which is really cool. They put, there's shrimp, all kinds of
My
pickles.
kind of Bloody
I
Mary.
mean, any it's a meal in itself.
Yeah, put a piece of
Yeah.
bacon in there. I'm all
Oh,
set.
yeah, there is a piece of bacon.
Is
in
it
there,
really?
too.
See,
Yeah, there
I'm
is a
all
piece of
set.
bacon in there.
See,
Yeah,
that's what I love.
yeah. We have
So,
the red flannel hash is a crowd pleaser too.
What is it? The red flannel?
Red
hat?
flannel hash. It's roasted beet hash. So it's potato hash with bacon,
Yep.
and we put beets in it. It's traditionally served with sour cream.
Yeah, so you're not going to
And
go hungry
it's-
at your brunch. For sure.
Yeah, it's a meal in itself.
Awesome.
That's a
Now,
big-
going into the next 2 weeks, because you got
Yes.
Easter coming up this weekend, and then
Yes.
Mother's Day, I think, 4 weeks, 5 weeks after that.
Yeah.
Will you guys be doing brunch on those days as well?
Unfortunately, this year for Easter, we're going to close so the staff can be with their family.
Nice.
Yeah, because we get a lot of people calling for large parties, and like I said, the back room, which is kind of like our function room,
Okay.
is not that big. It's only 20 people, so if that's all we can really fit.
And what about Mother's Day?
Mother's Day, we don't necessarily have anything planned,
But it's a regular brunch.
but
that
it
people can
will be
commit
a
to.
regular brunch.
Okay.
Yes, and there'll be a few specials, so that way there people can pick and choose whatever they want.
Nice. And you mentioned about the back room, how it can double up for private events. So if somebody wanted to,
Yes.
up to a party of 20, if they wanted to do something in the back room, they could kind of set it up with you guys to do that.
I think more so it's more so about I think the most we'll do is 8 to 10 people.
Okay.
During the week it might be different than on the weekend.
Got it.
That's the thing is on the weekend, because we still, unfortunately, we still do have a business to run, and if we do a large party like that,
It
it's
kind of
just
takes over the style of the
kind
restaurant.
it takes over the style of the restaurant, whereas it's a local friendly place where, I mean, we have regular customers that come in on a daily basis, and then like I said, the primary function too is the bar seating area.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And
it's
that's the
more
focal
so
point when you walk in there.
that's
you
the
see
whole focal point of it. The whole focal point of everything is a gastropub style.
So going into the pub style,
Yes.
let's talk about because you got the beers that you brought in. So
Yes,
I'm trying to
yes.
highlight these. So let's talk about
Yes.
the program that you have going on for that.
All right, so whenever we see new local beers come out, we try to get that, and usually I think we have about 12 taps, and each one, except for the maybe one, which is Guinness, it's usually all local beers. Currently on the menu right now, we may not have the Captain's
That's
Daughter. We might have the Flying Jenny, but we do have the Rise APA. I believe we just changed from the Devil's Purse too.
So you're literally updating them as these things, as the new ones
Oh,
come.
on
'Cause
a
Revival's
daily
coming up with
basis.
stuff all the time. And
Yeah.
we've had Sean and they've
Yeah.
got great stuff.
On
coming
a
out with it.
daily basis, we are changing the beers over. I wanted to get Ragged Island for us today, but we didn't have
Devil's Purse. I love this.
we didn't have any cans.
So it's
and
got to be
they're
tough tasting
unfortunate.
all these things when they come in, huh?
Oh, it's luckily that job falls on me. I'm not upset about that.
So when you're doing that, so when that happens, when these things come in, are you thinking
Yes.
about in your mind what you compare these things up with and make suggestions with people and stuff?
Oh, of course, because the beer usually it should complement the food.
Right.
I mean, because like I said, it's pub style, so we do serve. I love serving the beer and pairing the beer with food. We can give you wine suggestions too, but it's all about the different styles of beer depending on what you're
It's
getting.
kind of becoming your specialty and what you guys concentrate on over there. But
Yes.
in addition to that, and I saw that Carrot had up, is that you've got the craft cocktails as well.
Yes, we do have craft cocktails as well.
Now, is
Yeah.
that the same thing where the bartenders are kind of being imaginative and coming up with what the guests are asking for and kind of pairing up with things as well?
Yeah, yeah. Usually we, as a team together, because I know I'm here, but I still have the team back there. We come together with cocktails, thinking of what we'll pair with what menu items we're putting on. Like actually, like funny enough, we do have a drink called the Grapes of Wrath right now. And wouldn't you know? I just found that up today as well. I knew the drink, but I didn't know what the name was.
That's too
And
funny.
yeah, we work with.
So Carrot keeps a lot of those play on the book and
Yeah,
everything in
exactly.
there.
We got a lot of plays on everything, like with the TV dinner and the drink, the play on the book with the name.
No, but that's being inventive. That's
yeah.
absolutely being inventive. So one of the things I want to make sure that we talk about and highlight a little bit is that it's become, and you mentioned, the gastropub, but it's become
Yes.
this neighborhood scene to kind of go into.
Yes,
And
of course.
I had someone that instant messaged me on Facebook and said, I feel like it's the Cheers of the old days where they walk in and people know they know who you are.
Everybody
and-
knows everybody. As I said, I see the same faces day in, day out. It's
become-
almost like clockwork.
And it's a local spot.
Yes.
Also, where your location is, it's important to say, and especially if you're going down to the water in this area, because it is on the Warwick East Greenwich line, is that
Yes.
it's an easy spot for you to find and to go in. And being 4 years old, you guys have reached that milestone of success now where you're going to keep going. So
Yes.
if you're traveling down to that area, it's a spot that you can easily find where you highlighted, and you want to make sure that you can, you can literally park and you said walk across the street to the water.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we covered the style of the food, we got the stuff that you got there, the style of the
Yes.
restaurant. From your standpoint and growing up in this industry, as you talked about, what are some of your favorite things on the menu that may or may not stay, but things that you think that people should check out now before the new menu changes over?
Oh, I really do like. I have a plate on chicken mole tacos on the menu right now.
Okay.
It's less sweet than you would actually think of a traditional mole.
All right.
So it's more so my spin on it. It's more It really pronounces like the nutty flavors of the nuts, and it's peanut free. Or most moles are peanut based,
You're right.
peanut and chocolate based, but this one is totally peanut free. It's based with sunflower seeds,
Wow.
and it still has anise. There's cardamom in there, and
So how did you decide to change up to going from the peanuts to the sunflower seeds?
Well, one thing that we are big on too is accommodating people's
Dietary needs.
dietary needs.
Right.
Yes, we accommodate people's dietary needs, so that way if they have allergies, we try to eliminate the cross-contamination, the allergen in the entire restaurant.
Now, and I ask because
we do have peanuts on the menu, but we want to make sure that as a consumer you can come in and just basically eat whatever and not have to change things.
All right, so you got that. What's one of your favorite things for you to actually cook that you like to do?
For me to actually
Yeah, 'cause
cook?
I always ask chefs what's their favorite thing to actually be in the kitchen.
On the menu
I love
right
the tough
on the
questions.
menu right now.
Well, but in general, it
that's
doesn't even
a
have to
tough
be
one.
this necessarily menu. What's one of your, because you've got a style that's mixed, that you're bringing in
Yes.
all these great things that you're able to do.
Yes.
And you said you've done a lot of research on a lot of things, the trends that are coming up, but is there a particular thing that you really like to make sure that you cook, even if it's at home, because everybody loves to know what chefs like to eat.
I mean, I do like to eat. I like to eat pizza and pasta. Those are my two favorite foods. But I think my favorite thing to cook, I do pride myself on making soups and sauces.
Really?
Yes, I really do. I like trying new things and being inventive with soup flavors, because I don't like to go out to eat and then go to the same restaurant. So on a Monday, and then you go the next Monday, and the same soup special it's
right.
the same soup special.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
not easy things to do, though. Soups
No,
and sauces are not
soups and sauces are not.
No, that's a
No.
challenging thing
No,
to
and
do.
it's about the attention to detail
Right.
is what it is. Controlling the temperature, controlling your ingredients, and that's what it really comes down to.
So, with your background, and we talked about before that you worked your way up, and being that you've been at the Shanty for the 4 years and worked your way up now to executive chef,
Yeah.
you've got to have some encouragement for people, because it's no short milestone that you've accomplished. Is the team that comes into the kitchen, do you see both people that have been in the culinary world and people that have grown up like yourself?
For the most part, I do see a lot of people who've grown up in the culinary world, the Johnson and Wales students.
Right.
I do see people that are self-taught too.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot, yes. Because it's more so, I mean, everybody has to eat.
No,
Right.
and it's funny because Craig Collin, who was in before you, was the Governor Francis Inn that's in Warwick, and he's been there 21 years, and he was mentioning how he's had longevity of people that have come there, but they grew up in the industry, so it wasn't
Yes.
as if they went and got schooled. They went
Exactly.
to do it. And I'm not taking anything away from that as well, but the real life experience of what you've got and what you've accomplished are no short milestones. So
Yes.
I got to give you credit with that, and I want to give Kara a lot of credit for taking the initiative, going to Johnson and Wales and opening up her own restaurant, because
Yes.
it's a lot of work.
And
It's a lot of work for
no
sure.
small feat.
Not at
There's
all.
no small.
Not at
There's
all.
something around every corner with it.
For sure. Now, Chef, we covered a lot. Is there anything you think I missed that we want to make sure that we highlight? I think we did
I
pretty
think
good.
we did pretty well. Yeah.
Time
we-
to try this mac and cheese.
Yeah, we have the menu staples. We covered the beer, covered the background, and like also. But the thing is, I know I am here as I said before, but there is a whole team.
That you're working with.
Yeah, that I'm working with, and it's not just me. It's everybody involved. It's Kara. It's Amber, the bar manager. Austin, my sous chef. He does a lot. The entire staff, all the way down to the dishwashers. Honestly.
You know, and it's something cool to mention that in talking about your team is that if you go to the Shanty's website, Kara's done a great job, and you've all done a great job
Yes.
of highlighting each of these positions on there,
Yes.
highlighting the people in their background, which I think is a unique thing. It does lend to that neighborhood welcome feel of coming in and knowing who some of the people are before you walk in the door.
Yes,
So again,
exactly.
congratulations to Kara and the team on that. You've done a
Yeah.
good job. Well, Chef, thank you for making it in today. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a lot going on, and congratulations again.
All right. Thank you very
so
much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
All right.
So, as we get ready to close out, Kate Nagel is up next with everything in news and politics, and she's always got exciting things to talk about and great guests. She'll be in just a few minutes, but thank you for joining me today on The Taste. I'm Rick Simone. I'll see you next Wednesday.